Deputy, just picking up on that last point, I think it's also important to bear in mind that for people on a job seeker's payment, your family or personal relationships are also taken into account. So for a young person living at home, their parents' income is taken into account. And for somebody who's over, say, 25 years or older, if they have a partner, their partner's income is taken into account. So a lot of people who've been unemployed can find themselves at the end of their job seekers benefit payment not able to access a job seekers allowance payment, and then can find themselves outside of the supports that may otherwise have been available to them, including the Public Employment Service. Now, the department assures people can drop into their local Intrio centre, and that doesn't always seem to happen in practice on the ground, and that is a challenge. In terms of them, for people who are longer term unemployed, yeah, the payment my colleague Robert referenced, payment pending wages, is really important. It's a payment the department tend not to tell people about, but it could make a difference, particularly if somebody goes from a weekly welfare payment to a monthly wage. It could help them bridge that gap.
What is it again?
Payment pending wages.
It's identified under the Supplementary Welfare Allowance scheme. It's effectively a discretionary payment by what is now called the Community Welfare Officer. So you're a job seeker and an offer of employment has come up. And in order to take up the employment, you have to sign off job seekers because you're not available for work, you're taking up work. But you won't get paid until the end of the month, or you won't get paid for 2 weeks. So there's a gap between the income social welfare have given you and the income you'll get from employment. Social welfare have recognised that that's a disincentive for people to take up work. So you can retain your medical card. There's a whole range of things you could do. But in relation to the reality of living from week to week, you are relying on the income from social welfare. So what social welfare have said is, if you are taking up employment and there's a gap of up to 4 weeks between signing off from a job seeker's payment and entering into work, we will be able to give you your weekly social welfare payment for that period, and you do not have to pay it back to us.
And is that by going to the community welfare officer?
That's by going to the community when you can get to see them.
And I was going to say, at the moment, the community welfare officer is snowed under, and the you're talking about a turnover time of 12 weeks there, so that's not working at the moment.
Yeah, this deputy is where, getting back to your question around the supports of people who do go from a welfare payment into work, we really need to make this system, and we should be, with all the technology now at our disposal, be able to do this, whereby if somebody is making that journey or thinking about it, that they can access all of the information they require and make an informed choice. And if something like the support Robert has outlined is available for them, that they can access it, and they can do so in a relatively straightforward manner, rather than having to meet somebody in person.
Absolutely.
You know, and that,
right.
Yeah, and likewise, if somebody does make the welfare to work journey and they have family and family responsibilities, they may be able to access the working family payment. But again, the time concerns, you know, around all of that. That again, all of that should be much. The operation of that should be much more efficient and effective, and people should not be left with this awful choice of, do I stay here on a welfare payment that's inadequate, go over there to a job that mightn't be a huge improvement, but I might be able to move from it onto something else, and people feel, well, there's a large gap in the middle. So, okay. And we really should be able to address that and get that right.
All right.
Whether some of what the department have outlined in their December release around the working age payment, whether that will help some of that, I think needs further exploration. It might for some people, and it might create other trapdoors for others. So that will need to, I think, very much to be explored, you know, and to figure, you know, to address that. And then I think likewise, picking up on the point Suzanne was making, you know, just that the world of work is changing. So people need those supports to be able to reskill if they need to, look at what skills they have, what's transferable, how to get a good job, how to apply, who to talk to, and all of that sort of stuff. And those supports should be available for everybody, regardless of what welfare payment you're on or not. And then if people do make that journey and it doesn't work out, the journey back shouldn't be a torturous one. You know, we really need to make sure the system is as supportive for people as possible so that we smooth out all the bumps that are currently in the road, some of which are very big, and leave people with making really awful choices